Still staying with Cross River State, for an explanation on the Cross River State government's cancellation of an earlier issued cattle movement permit granted to Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and the reasons behind the reversal, as well as its implications for interstate livestock movement from a Boyne state through Cross River to Cameroon. I'm joined by Erasmus Ekpang. He is the Commissioner for Information. Did I get that right? Yeah. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank you so very much.
Mr. Ekpang.
Thank you.
I mean, the first question to ask, because I know that this policy is not even up to a year old. This permit is not up to a year old.
Yeah, definitely.
So my first question would be, what changed? Was it issued in error earlier in the year, or it wasn't properly thought out?
No, thank you so very much. Yeah. So the permit was actually, it's not the first time, you know, most times when cattle, breeders pass through the state, or actually graze through. But, it has caused a lot of some level of issues, like the agreement for the permit was to allow these cattle pass through Izib in the Boyne state to the Cameroon. And that would actually take through the local government of Iyala or Goja, Ikom local government to Cameroon. And of course, the agreement again was that, these cattle had to be trucked, because in the course of grazing these cattle, a lot of farmlands are destroyed. It brings some kind of fracas and issues within, warring communities and all that. Yeah. And of course, we understand the sensitivity of insecurity in the country and all that. So that was the initial agreement, that these cattle actually had to be trucked, and then, of course, they have to pass through the local government. But to our greatest surprise, I think the arrangement was almost turning to grazing them physically in the field, destroying farms maybe, and then at the end of the day, from the permit they had now signaled Bekwara local government that is far in the north and Obudu. So if we look at this route carefully, Obudu and Bekwara has nothing to do with the route through Izi, Cameroon. So the need for why we had to put the permit on hold for now and then, look at it.
Great. And as you have said, the permit only agreed trucking.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing breeding.
Yeah, on grazing. And then we're wondering why Obudu local government, which is close to the Benue state, and then Bekwara were now notified by these breeders. So it means that something didn't really seem right. Either the cattle were not actually really coming from Izi or something, so we had to just put it on hold, kind of suspension.
But there were concerns by residents of these communities that you have mentioned when this permit and collaboration came on board. So one wonders, why didn't you take into consideration their concerns before even agreeing with this permit in the first instance?
No. If you look at this, like the trucking, the trucks, the cattle's about 500 trucked to move. I mean, it's they're going to either be checked in checkpoints. They are not going to mess around. They're not going to spoil farmlands. They're just going to move straight through this route. So it's a good deal for us. For us, the state is open to business. It's open to being friendly to every tribe and every association of business or whatever. But where we don't agree with, where we try to argue with, if the agreement was truck these cattle, was now turning to graze them by field, in other words, destroying farmlands. Of course, we're going to have more issues with even our own communities. Why would we allow this? So the first agreement to allow cattle even into Cross River State or pass through Cross River State was up, because you're going to truck them. That's the agreement.
Okay. Yeah. And so, I mean, we have seen the heightened security situation in the country. Beyond this permit breach, as you have highlighted, because they are no longer trucking. Yeah. Beyond this breach, were there any other reasons your government decided to revoke this permit? And is this a temporary revoke or it is permanent? Are you completely blocking Cross River State to movement of the cattle to Cameroon?
No, we're not completely blocking, cattle movement. Of course, we are very friendly with interstate movement, and of course, His Excellency Senator Chris Benson is one of the most, I think, friendliest governor when it comes to non-indigens. Of course, we have done a lot for the non-indigens. The Hajj program this year was sponsored by Cross River State government. We are even, planning to, relocate the cemetery, a place for the Muslims in Cross River State. And I personally had attended the mosques like 2 or 3 times, so I have a very good, wonderful relationship. So the permit itself, as it is, even the First Lady, before I forget, has done a lot of, taken out a lot of programs, activities to the non-indigens, especially the Muslims, distributed a lot of things. We're even about into renovating their central mosques. So we have a very seamless relationship with the Muslims, and we have a very cordial relationship. But for the permit, I think it's a temporal thing. For Calabar now, we're looking at...
You're not sure?
No. I'm telling you, it's temporal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very sure of that. It's very temporal because, for us, almost every emphasis now is on the big carnival Calabar that is coming up very soon. So we now suspend this for now since, the deals were not really going the way we had, the agreement were not the way we suggested them. Okay. Let's face some other issues, bordering the state.
Yes, and it comes at a time when the National Council on
Health.
Livestock.
Oh, livestock, yeah, in Adamawa.
Yes, talked about open grazing being banned in the country. One wonders if this was in relation to the decision you have taken.
No, that decision came before the National Council. I speak, my commissioner for livestock is still in Yola, is still in Adamawa at the moment. So it came before. The reason for that permit withdrawal was a misunderstanding.
But do you also buy into that decision by the livestock decision in Adamawa State?
Well, I'm not part of them. They're a policy-making body, so they are free to. My point here is actually to disseminate the information, and then whatever their policies as a group agrees on is fine. Maybe for checks of, I don't know, maybe insecurity or whatever is there. It's up to the body to actually decide what they want, who would actually tell the story out. And
considering that Cross River, it's a route to moving livestock to Cameroon, have there been reactions from MACBAN, for instance? Have you had this conversation with them, and what has been their response? I mean, if you granted a permit and they have breached it, did you reach out to them? What are they telling your government?
No, not. It just happened just some few weeks back. So we're waiting to get a response from them for, not actually keeping to the rules of, what we agreed before we give them the permit. So we have not really heard from them yet. But I think, as a state, we just felt the right thing should be done, and then maybe suspend it for now.
We have a national decision. The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mahia Mukhtar, is now clarifying that this is not an outright ban of cattle grazing.
No, definitely
and
not.
It's a phase-in. So that decision, I mean, you said you're not part of the Adamawa decision, but as a government, because you speak for your government, as a government, is that what you're also going to be aligning with?
The Cross River State government have always been in line with the federal government. So whatever decision that is taken by the Minister for Livestock, we adhere to it.
Great. Yeah. I have to thank you very much for being on the news to speak on this issue. Erasmus Ekpang, Commissioner for Information, Cross River State.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.